Hey there again, Bio. This is going to be video for codominance. Joining me again, of course, as always in my lap, Gus Gus, just like he joined in video 3. He's real pumped to teach about codominance. He's a good example of codominance. If you'll notice his lovely coloring, he has a white stripe and he's tan. He's two different colors, so if that helps you remember. Okay, I'm going to put him back down so we can go back to sleep. Whoop. There he is. Okay, so you guys now have learned about complete dominance, where you have one allele that's totally dominant over the other. And then you guys have learned about incomplete dominance, where they both end up kind of equally dominant and they mix together to make a new phenotype. This next one is called codominance. So think of it like the two alleles are working together and you see both of them, okay? They both end up being dominant. My definition there says both alleles contribute to the phenotype. So unlike incomplete dominance where they mix together, okay, you're going to actually see both completely in the phenotypes. So they both get to be totally dominant, okay? Codominant. Think of it like a co-worker. If you have someone that you work with, or if you guys have ever had a class that has two teachers, like co-teachers, okay? The two teachers work together to help in the classroom, but they're still two separate teachers, okay? Codominance kind of works like that. First example I gave you guys here was before when we had like a red and a white allele, it would make pink. In codominance, if you had a gene that was working with codominance, it would be the red and the white would make red and white flowers instead of pink flowers, okay? And then another example that, and I'm going to give you guys this several times, is you'd have an allele for black feathers and an allele for white feathers, and you end up with a chicken that has black and white feathers. You don't end up with like a gray chicken. Okay, I gave you guys a couple examples here. Okay, my first one shows dad has horizontal stripes, mom has vertical stripes, and kid shows examples of both. Okay, this one's always been a funny little example of kind of just a symbol of what codominance really is. Okay, and then the other one I had was my heterozygotes. Get it? Zygotes, and they're different. It says just allele uneven. Haha. So obviously, you guys, these are not real goats. This is photoshopped. There aren't real goats that are like this. But this would be like the black allele. This would be the white allele, and they both show up in the phenotype. Okay. All right. Just real quick. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Okay, and just a couple more examples for you. Here is my kind of chicken that I was talking about. There are several species of chickens that work with this codominance idea, where you have a gene for white feathers, a gene for black feathers, and then it shows up that's a black and white chicken. They don't mix together to make a gray chicken like incomplete dominance, okay? So for this one, you would have, the F stands for feathers, and you guys don't have to do that, but you would have BB stands for black, WW stands for white, and then when you get one of each, you get a black and white chicken, okay? This one is an absolutely, completely ridiculous representation, but if it helps you remember, okay? Black allele, white allele, black and white panda bear. Okay, you guys will note here, this is not really how panda coat color is created, but just kind of a fun example. Anything that has spots or stripes, think of that as codominance, where you see two different colors at the same time. Okay, they don't mix together to make something new. Okay, a couple more examples for you. If you had one allele for a red fish, like that might be an R, and then B for the blue fish. Instead of mixing together to make purple, you would have a red and blue fish. Okay, another absolutely ridiculous one. This is not how a duck-billed platypus is made, but to help you guys remember, here's the duck-bill part, and then here's the flat tail of the beaver, and then the duck-billed platypus. You see both of those parts in the phenotype. Again, not really how a duck-billed platypus is made, just something silly. Okay, so what's the difference between incomplete and codominance? I thought that this picture gave a really good example. In both, there are no recessives. Everything is dominant, okay? But in incomplete, neither one of them truly wins over the other one. They work together to make a new phenotype, okay? In codominance, both of them win completely, okay? They never separate. They don't mix together to make a new phenotype. They do make a new phenotype, but it's a phenotype that shows both of the alleles, okay? So example I gave here was, this would be like your red and this would be your white, whatever symbol you're using for that, and it would make a pink flower. And you guys can see, it's just really hard for me to fully commit to this flower. So he's not really totally dominant, neither is he. So they both just sort of mix together to make one new phenotype. Codominance, black and white, makes this black and white chicken, okay? It says, we shall rule this chicken together. Huzzah! Woohoo! Okay. In codominance, both are completely dominant. They're both seen, but they don't dominate each other. So there's no real recessive there. Okay. So you guys have to remember, in incomplete, they mix together to make a new phenotype. In codominance, they both work at the same time to make a new phenotype. So for codominance, I would maybe write down like spots and stripes if that helps you remember. Like think of a Dalmatian. You see you see the black genotype and the white genotype. Think a zebra. You see the black genotype. You see the white genotype. All right, here is your codominance example. And I'm going to use primes again here. You guys don't necessarily have to use that. If you want to use different letters, you still can. Remember, it's just a symbol. As long as you know that having one of each makes your heterozygous, you're fine. All right. And I would write this stuff down at the top too, you guys, where it says B equals black, B1 equals white, and B1 equals black and white. So the first animal, let's say this is a chicken. Okay. There's lots of different species of chickens that do this. Okay. I've got one chicken that's black and white feathers and another chicken that's just black feathers. So you guys can see right here, remember, every single one of my offspring gets half from this parent and half from the other parent. You notice I don't have any that are two yellows or two blues. All that genetic information, half is from one parent, half is from the other parent. Okay. So we end up with one black chicken here and another black chicken, and these two are black and white. There is no possibility for me having just a white chicken out of this. A white chicken would have to be two of these. Okay. So I don't have that possibility. I only have one of those that I can pass down. Okay, genotypes and phenotypes. This is going to be a lot like incomplete dominance. You're going to have your three genotypes, and then you're going to have three phenotypes. So you'll have your homozygous for this color, homozygous for this color, and then heterozygous is going to be, it's going to show both of the colors together, okay? So you guys can see I said we've got 50% homozygous black, 50% black and white, and we had none that were white, okay? This B1 genotype was not a possibility because I only had one B1 that I could pass down. Okay, here is your summary for video 4. First job, write the questions. Write these questions down, okay? You got to write the questions down. Then answer the questions, okay? First one, how are incomplete dominance and codominance similar? Okay, last time I asked you how they're different. I want to know with these ones, how are they similar? And for this Punnett square, write this question down first, okay? Write the question down, because if you need help with any of the parents, it helps if I can go back and pick out some of the vocab words. Okay, write the question, do the Punnett square, do the genotypes and phenotypes. Okay, so do all those things for that summary. And that is it for video 4, codominance, you guys. You are all done.